Hi everyone, this is Jim Crook with CTERA Product Marketing, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today for our newest webinar on cloud storage gateways, the updates that we've made to our portfolio that we've announced in the past few weeks. So we've got some really great enhancements and features and functionalities that we've built into our gateways that we've just announced, and we're going to take you through all that today and what it means for you and what you can expect from the CTERA Cloud Storage Gateway portfolio moving forward. So let's get started. So before we jump into the news, sort of want to just take a step back and think about the cloud storage gateway market and CTERA's role in this marketplace. And we're tracked by Gartner. Gartner puts together a cloud storage gateway market guide. Their most recent one appeared in November. And CTERA is prominently featured throughout that market guide. You can actually access that market guide today through CTERA.com in the resources section if you would like to further read through. But just to pull out a few key points from that report by Raj and Arun from Gartner, they made the point that you really should prioritize performance consistency, a flexible deployment model, an on-prem and cloud cost reduction, an ease of integration, and a mobile access as your critical evaluation criteria. And we're proud to say at CTERA that we really check all those boxes quite nicely. And then speaking about CTERA, specifically, Raj pointed out that our products deliver significant value at lower price points. So I think you'll find as you start to research cloud storage gateways that CTERAs are generally among the most cost-effective that you'll find. And lastly, the market guide points out that CTERA's has a large number of cloud storage gateways deployed compared to most other vendors in this guide. So it's nice to take such a prominent role in this market guide. And like I said, if you would like to read further through this market guide, you can access it for free at CTERA.com/resources. So in keeping with the Gartner theme and sort of level setting in terms of what is a cloud storage gateway, because I think there are a lot of different definitions out there and maybe a little bit of market confusion in terms of what actually a gateway is. So we'll leave it to Gartner to sort of standardize on this. And to them, it's a virtual or a physical or virtual appliance that provides users and applications fast access to cloud-based files. It's also a bridge between internal data centers and public cloud storage. They provide seamless integrations between public cloud protocols and APIs into local IT. These gateways, they help organizations better manage files and reduce on-premises storage infrastructure. And again, this is all from Gartner reporting. And lastly, Gartner says that gateways are not created equally. They do not deliver the same value for particular use cases, which is something we dove into pretty much in depth most recently in a CTERA webinar probably a month or two ago, where we looked at various use cases in the cloud storage gateway market. We looked at various types of vendors and sort of wanted to give you a better understanding of what gateway makes sense for you and your organization depending on your various needs. So if you are interested in that, I'd urge you to check out that webinar at CTERA.com/resources again, and there's a tab for webinars where you can check out all of our previous webinars. So moving on. And so what do our clouds, where do we fit in this overall gateway market? And our gateways are all-in-one appliances. Think of them as all-in-one appliances that serve as local file servers and as hybrid cloud backup appliances. And they come, as Gartner mentioned, in physical and virtual configurations. So think of our file server, think of our gateway as an enterprise NAS, and it supports all of the leading protocols: NFS, SMB, iSCSI, AFP, FTP, and rsync, enterprise ACLs and quotas, and the gateway also comes pre-bundled with CTERA backup agents for workstations and for servers. So we've effectively eliminated the need for third-party backup software in your remote office. Our backups are fire level or bare metal, and we also offer server backups that support Microsoft applications, Exchange, SQL Server, SharePoint, Active Directory, and more. The data is synced from your gateway to your public or to your private or virtual private cloud, and it's deduplicated, compressed, and encrypted before it's sent over the WAN. So we're really optimizing the the performance of your data moving across the wire as it goes across the network. The primary mode of deployment there features a snapshot engine that takes periodic thin snapshots of your data and copies them over to the cloud. And then, lastly, if you're an admin, you have the ability to easily define retention periods on the gateway and in the cloud. You can store snapshots at the edge. That's if you're really dependent on recovery objectives, or you can optimize everything up into the cloud. Again, totally customizable depending on what you need. And so CTERA is really essentially combining the capabilities that you'd have to get from several different services, right? So it's combining everything that you'd get from an enterprise NAS, from enterprise backup software, a tape backup or offsite tape backup vaulting service. We're really eliminating the need for all of those disparate services with a single solution. And so it's often most used to replace enterprise file servers, as well as enterprise backup appliances and enterprise backup software. And so, with our built-in cloud snapshot capabilities that we mentioned in the previous slide, you also we're also eliminating the need for that cumbersome offsite tape backup process that many organizations have grappled with for years. So really leveraging the power of the cloud to eliminate the need for that. And so when you consider all that you really need to buy and to manage, we're saving typically organizations between 60 and 80%, over the previous multiple legacy solutions that you'd need to purchase. And so, you'll hear these numbers, 60, 80% savings referenced by a lot of our customers, and you can see that on our customer page on our website, ctera.com/customers, and many of our customers like Carlyle Group, which is the #1 private equity firm in the world, will extol those virtues in terms of the cost effectiveness of a single solution versus trying to manage and deploy several different applications and services. So moving on. So now we're going to get into actually what we announced most recently here. And this was our headline. It was CTERA scales up and virtualizes its cloud storage gateway portfolio to modernize distributed and converged IoT infrastructure. And it's impressive. It's an impressive headline, and for what we feel is an impressive product announcement. So very broadly, the announcement drops into two categories here in terms of our gateway portfolio. One is that we've announced a capacity increase for your cloud storage gateway, a 4x capacity increase. So we're now offering the ability to provide gateways up to 64 terabytes in volume size at the edge of the network. So that's a 4x capacity increase from 16 terabytes to 64. And additionally, we've now announced a new virtual gateway platform that runs on VMware and KVM servers. So this is a pretty big deal that has a lot of benefits for our customers that we're going to get into in a little bit here. So thinking about our capacity expansion first, our CTERA physical gateway, which we've sold more of our CTERA physical gateways than any other vendor in the world today. And think of this as a turnkey appliance. It does all the services that we mentioned a few minutes ago in terms of file services and backup and offsite services and things like that. It's a turnkey appliance, and the physical gateway supports up to one terabyte to 32 terabyte options today. Now in the future we're going to get the physical gateways up to supporting 64 terabytes, but for now the virtual gateway, which we've announced just in this past month, is what's going to support the 64 terabyte volume. So think about our CTERA virtual gateway as a soft appliance. It's deployed on the hardware of your choice, and we'll get a little more into the details there just momentarily. But this capacity expansion is really predicated on our switch in file systems from Next 3, which enabled a remote office to support up to around 1,000 users, a little less than that concurrently. With XFS, we have the ability to support thousands of users concurrently. So it's an upgrade in the overall CTERA file system upon which our gateways run, that allows us to support an increase in users as well as an increase in volume at the edge of the network. And so virtual gateway models, we've announced today an EV16, which offers support for up to 16 terabyte capacity, but we do have the ability to scale the virtual gateway, as necessary, up to that 64 terabyte number. So if you do have configurations that exceed the 16 terabyte capacity, please give us a call and we will happily work with you to meet your configuration needs. Conversely, we'll be announcing a smaller virtual size gateway supporting around 4 to 8 terabytes, depending on again your capacity and remote office requirements. So the point here is that today we are announcing the EV16, but we do have flexibility here to support you in whatever your needs are. So in terms of the virtual gateway and the platform, the full stack here, the file services, the file service protocols, they don't change. These are the same protocols we've supported from a physical standpoint, from NFS, SMB, AFP, FTP, rsync, and iSCSI, and our CTERA backup agents also as a file service protocol through which our gateway can communicate. The CTERA Gateway Appliance operating system is a key part of the stack, and of course that now runs on your choice of either a bare metal operating system that sits on top of our physical CTERA Gateway, and now we're opening the rest of a virtual appliance, and opens up new doors into VMware and KVM servers. And that runs on really your choice of hardware. So we have configurations with Dell and HP, and Lenovo is another very popular server that many organizations are using at the edge of the network. So the point here is that you have a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to deploy a gateway. It's not limited to simply a CTERA appliance any longer. So if you have servers running at the edge of the network with VMware or KVM hypervisors, you have the ability to now have your own virtual gateway. So talking a little bit about the virtual gateway benefits, just so we make sure we're clear here. We have high availability configurations here. So if you're using some VMware high availability tools, you now have the ability to build really fully resilient, capable configurations for your remote office. Another benefit is the ability for faster performance. A lot of customers have either large numbers of customers or of users, excuse me, or they have specific applications that they need to run at peak performance. And now with your choice of networking, you have the ability. Your choice of networking, processing, and storage, you have the ability to build a system that meets your needs entirely. And with any CPU, any RAM configuration, we are able to support you in whatever you need to do at the edge of the network. From a convergence standpoint, it's obviously a hot industry trend, and we're very cognizant of the fact that a lot of enterprise organizations are looking to converge infrastructure, and they don't want more hardware wherever in the data center or in the robo. Now you have the ability to deploy a gateway on the same hardware that you're running print servers or any type of firewall services. We're really collapsing storage, collaboration, and backups into a single platform that you may already be using in your IT environment today. And lastly, this is something that many people don't think about, but if you have a trusted hardware vendor, whether that's whoever, Dell, HP, whoever that you're working with today, and you like them, you've established a relationship, and you have everything is very comfortable for you in this regard. You can leverage these relationships and logistics. Our gateway platform will run on any sort of hardware that's running an VMware or KVM hypervisor. So you can continue to leverage those relationships as you see fit, and make really leverage the logistics that have been working for you so far. So another benefit to the CTERA virtual gateway that we've unveiled in the last month here. If you have other questions, we're going to get into more, but you can always go to a new FAQ that we've put together for CTERA customers and partners at ctera.com/FAQ-virtual-gateway-2016. There are a lot of in-depth questions there that we might not cover all of them today, but please do feel free to check that out. Okay, so we're going to take a look at all of CTERA's potential failover scenarios here, and we really think this, this will help you sort of really get a sense of the ability for CTERA in an HA configuration standpoint. So the first, there are four we're going to go through there. The first failover scenario is local replication, and in this case, a customer will simply mount a second CTERA gateway at the same office in case of a failure, so that a CTERA gateway will be replicated to another gateway, and this is a realistic option for CTERA because of the cost effectiveness of our gateways. So if you're buying two CTERA gateways purely for replication and failover purposes, the cost effectiveness of the gateways makes two gateways an attractive option in terms of local replication. We got into this a little bit earlier, but you can also build high availability through your hypervisor. So if you're with a new virtual gateway, you can sort of implement what we would say is shared storage between two partner servers that you've architected for a high availability system, and using the VMware tools for high availability, you can build a fully resilient configuration for your office, in which case your users would mount the same gateway an admin would mount the same gateway on new hardware in the case of a failure. So that's another failover option with the CTERA gateways. you can also fail over to a cloud-mounted drive. So this is an interesting case study that we have with Carlyle Group, which I mentioned before, and you can check out Jeff Pisano, his speech at Gartner Data Center in this past November or December. Jeff is the VP of IT operations at Carlyle Group, and they're the #1 PE private equity firm in the world. And they needed Jeff realized his business continuity with his file servers was subpar, and if a file server in an office went down in the 30 offices around the world, it could take up to a week sometimes to get that office back up in line, up and running, and that wasn't acceptable for Carlyle Group. So what they've done with CTERA is they've initiated a failover process where if a gateway at a local office goes down, a Z drive is automatically mapped to the user's desktop, and we're mapping that drive via WebDAV so that file access looks the same to the user through this Z drive. The office remains productive. The file access looks the same. It's slightly slower because it's going over the WAN versus the LAN, but the point is that users still have all their files. That it looks the same to them, and the office remains productive. And so for Carlyle Group, their time spent getting back up to speed has dropped from days or even weeks to 5 minutes. So this is a very popular and increasingly popular failover method for CTERA customers. And if you have more interest in hearing about the Carlyle Group's work in this area, please do go to our customer page, ctera.com/customers, and you can see that entire presentation from Gartner Data Center 2015. And then lastly, because our gateway manages the files in the cloud, it's a cloud-based file system. If your browser at any time fails, or you can always access your files by using just a simple web browser. So this is the most simple failover technique, but it's effective just the same. Your gateway goes down, and you can simply log into your files using your web browser. So that's the HA benefits from the virtual gateway standpoint. I want to talk a little bit more about convergence now. Click through here, but the point is, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but CTERA has always been consolidating file services and backup software and appliances into a single solution with our cloud storage gateways. But we heard from a lot of customers that they'd love to consolidate even more onto a single platform, and so whether it be a print server, domain controller, firewall, various other robo applications, whatever it is, with our virtual gateway platform now, you can simply manage everything, virtual gateway, print servers, firewalls, whatever, from your own hardware, from your own choice of hardware. So again, we're collapsing a bunch of different services and applications onto one single piece of hardware that's running in your remote office, and it's really about providing additional flexibility for any organization that's pursuing converged or hyper-converged initiatives. Our virtual gateway now supports you in that endeavor, and you no longer need to purchase a separate CTERA appliance. You now have the ability to run it all from your own choice of hardware. So another benefit from a convergence perspective. One converged hardware appliance. So some CTERA recently asked questions that we've been hearing from partners and customers. One that we've gotten a lot, and it's an understandable one that you might have yourself as you're watching this, is, so what differences are there between the CTERA physical gateways and the CTERA virtual gateways? And it's a good question. And the answer is, from a management perspective and from a user experience perspective, there is no difference. It's the same features and functionality that you've come to know if you're a CTERA customer from our physical gateways that you're going to experience through the virtual appliance. Configuration-wise is where naturally the differences occur, and we've talked about this a little bit. But you have your choice of Ethernet networking, you have your choice of HA configurations. And then you have various support and logistics options now available to you in terms of who you want to work with and your choice of how you want your overall logistics operation to run. Those are the big differences between the CTERA physical and virtual gateways. But like I said, if you've come to know the CTERA gateway, the physical version, if you have appliances running at your offices today, there is essentially no difference from a management or user experience perspective with the virtual gateway. And so just to sort of help you frame up this a little more when you're trying to think about, if you want to choose a physical appliance or a virtual appliance, from a physical standpoint, if you're not looking to integrate branch infrastructure assets, as we mentioned on some previous slides where, you have a bunch of different services and applications, if you're not looking to integrate those, the physical appliance is fine. If you're not looking to manage those various IT services, as sort of a continuation of that thought, if you don't want to manage those various IT services at the edge of the network, then the physical appliance is a really good option for you. And if you're not investing in any converged or virtualized IP infrastructure, and you're fine running with your current hardware, and you don't have any plans to make new investments in converged or virtual IT, the physical appliance is a really great choice for you. And then from a virtual standpoint, if you're looking to converge the robo infrastructure, as we talked about a little bit ago, the virtual appliance makes a lot of sense for you. If you're looking to preserve what you've already invested into your robo infrastructure and you want to deploy on your own hardware, the virtual appliance is a really great option for you. And if you're looking to simplify some of the IT management of various services and infrastructure at the on-premises level, a virtual gateway is a fine option for you. So just to recap in terms of what our cloud storage gateways offer, it's an all-in-one appliance in terms of enterprise NAS, backup, and offsite services. It's a cost-effective option when you're replacing those various services into one, and you're really dropping your TCO from legacy IT by about 65 to 80%. Really significant cost savings, and it's a centrally managed platform that enables anytime, anywhere file access, and it enables admins to ensure that that they know how their users are accessing files, and it's the ability to no longer be at that office to ensure that your users are getting the best possible performance out of their appliances. So want to talk briefly about our sync gateway functionality. So our sync gateways are the same. It's basically an option within your admin tools to change from a classic cloud storage gateway to a sync gateway. But if you are interested in the sync gateway, this is how it would work. In this case, the data isn't snapshotted to the cloud, but it's rather the gateway implements a file sync that works bidirectionally in conjunction with CTERA's EFSS offering. We have a Magic Quadrant grade EFSS offering, Enterprise File Sync and Share. So the gateway sync mode works in conjunction with that. And in this sync mode, gateways, they map user profiles, permissions, and files all to the CTERA cloud platform. And this capability really enables users to and admins to selectively assign which files go to which devices and to which offices that they might use the most. So to give you an example of how that might work, a user can decide to sync, let's say, their home directory to their laptop and to their Office gateway, but they would only sync, for example, their shared projects to the offices that they travel to. The bottom line is it's really this concept of what we call CTERA follow me data, where we're trying to enable the best possible file access experience for your users, no matter where they are, no matter how they work. We want to provide the ability for an admin to selectively sync the files and projects across the devices, offices, and the cloud. Like I said, to enable that that great user experience and provide a certain level of we call it follow me data, but the ability for that data to be wherever the user needs it to be. And so sync gateways in this regard extend the cloud file system. So now if we're talking about in the context of our capacity increase, when we have a 64 terabyte volume at the edge of the network, the sync gateway essentially it acts as an additional storage tier within an overall cloud file system. So if you're an organization that's storing, let's say, petabytes of data in the cloud, you can use the gateway as an additional storage tier and selectively sync selectively sync, an admin can sync whatever files to whatever users should be at their chosen gateways. So it's an ability for an organization really to use the sync gateway as another storage tier that they can access files from a local standpoint and still offload data that maybe might not be as quite as hot or warm off to the cloud that can be accessed at another time. The admin selective sync options can also be done programmatically, so we have templates and configuration tools that allow an admin and users to decide when certain files should be kept on a gateway and when certain files should be kept in the cloud. And you can do that manually, or you can you can programmatically assign those rules and configuration tools to be completely customizable to whatever your requirements are. So that's the news. We've announced a capacity increase, so it's a 4x capacity increase over our previous gateway volume sizes, and we have new virtual gateways that you can run on your choice of hardware, on the hypervisor of your choice, and it's these two announcements together are really providing a greater level of flexibility and ability for an organization to sort of really run their virtual gateway or run their gateway however they would like to do so. They have a new level of flexibility and modernization that will really increase the overall benefit for the organization. And you don't have to buy it right away. Try, if you like to try before you buy, you're certainly welcome to do so, and we encourage you to visit us at ctera.com/trial to get a sense of how the product works. And you'll see when you get to that page that the admin accounts for both public cloud and private cloud have the ability to register and get in touch with us for a virtual gateway trial. And so you can just visit this site, fill out a quick form with some details, and we'll get in touch with you in terms of your requirements and what you need, and we'll get you off and running. And you can check out check out the virtual cloud storage gateway today. So just to bring you up to speed in terms of what else is happening at CTERA, a lot of great momentum is continuing to rise here. We were recently selected by WWT, Worldwide Technology, along with HPE, EMC, NetApp, and some really other large storage and cloud vendors to support DISA with a $400 million storage modernization contract. We're working with WWT to create an overall new storage environment for DISA, which supports which is the IT arm of the U.S. Department of Defense. So that's a really great story that we like to tell, and you know, we're also being recognized globally by Deloitte in both Israel and EMEA as some of the fastest growing, as one of the fastest growing firms in both of those areas, in Israel and EMEA. We've achieved a 250% growth in our recent years, and that's what Deloitte was measuring all of these firms on. So a lot of really good growth here at CTERA. And along those lines, you know, we recently announced earlier this spring in a press release some record results in 2015 in terms of our enterprise customer growth. It's growing rapidly. We've announced, last year we announced a landmark version of our CTERA platform 5.0, which I believe many of you have experienced. And we also unveiled a unique data protection system for cloud ops initiatives, which is really getting some significant momentum around it in 2016 as customers start to really understand the benefits of protecting data and servers and applications that are running in the cloud. So that's all the news for today. I wanted to give you a quick recap in terms of where we've been, and what we've announced in terms of our overall gateway portfolio. So this is a re-recording of a previous webinar that we gave, so no one's on the line with me right now. But if you do have questions or you'd like to get in touch, now is the time when we would open it up for Q&A. But we're happy to answer any questions that you have, so you can reach out to me anytime, jimc@ctera.com, jimc@ctera.com. You can also reach us at marketing@ctera.com or info@ctera.com with any questions. So that is it. I'd like to thank you for your time, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.